Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of this podcast. So today's topic came to my mind because I recently was rethinking my goals of this year, and among those thoughts came the question of the things that I want and the things that I need. What I always think about in this type of cases where you have to somehow choose between two things, the best thing is to start by distinguish the two things well. At least is what it works for me. For example, I ask myself, why do I need in my life financially in terms of friendships, relationships, in my daily life? What do I really need? And on the other hand, I ask myself the same, but with the things that I want, like what I want in my life and all of that. You could make a list if you find it useful. The good thing about doing that is that thanks to that comparison, you might find things in common between the things you want and the things that you need. But even so, you have to find a way to find a balance because as much as there are things in common between your wants and needs, obviously not everything you want is what you need. And I think that being honest with oneself also comes into play here. Sometimes we try to disguise the things we want as needs, and that can become a problem. So let's start with the things you need, like the basic stuff like, I don't know, water, food, shelter, clothes, but and of course a job. And I think family and friends could fit into the category of need, but that's a little bit more complicated. The best way to define a need, it will be those things that we strictly need to survive. The list that I mentioned above is literally what you need to survive. Let's give example like with food. I mean, the healthier the better, and it is something that nobody can deny that it is a necessity. Now, do you need a burger from those big fast food chains? That's a big no. You choose to go to those places because you want to. I don't mean that you have to stop going. What I'm trying to say is that the difference between a need and a want, and being honest with ourselves. The same with the drinks. A clear example is the famous coffee chain. How many of you need to drink coffee in the specific place? The answer is nobody. I think many go because it is just cool and all of that. So we could find thousands of examples. Do we need the latest phone? No. Do we need the latest shoes, purse, clothes? No. It is something that when you think about it, you are surrounded by things that you want, not that you need. Anyway, I know that saying it will not change some facts. We were born and grew up in a world where material and superficial things are highly valued. If you are with the latest cell phone and trendy clothes, then you are cool. If not, well, you know. And I think we all know that it is influenced by social media, where the things that we see many times are not real. I know that not everything is negative regarding social media. It has helped many things and causes for its visualization that otherwise the world would not find out. But that doesn't mean that we have to. But that doesn't mean that we don't have to be careful with what we consume on social media. Now, something that I wanted to say was about needs and wants between relationships, like family, friends, and all of that. And the first thing to keep in mind, and for me a necessity, any type of relationship has to be healthy. No discussion on that. We are always meeting people. Sometimes they become close, and other times they come and go. We become close with someone for various reasons, common things, and other stuff. But something to keep in mind is that personality is particular to each person. If with that person you become someone that you are not or that you don't wanna be, and if that becomes something unsustainable, I have to cut that relationship. It is easier said than done, and even sometimes, depending on the relationship, it is more difficult to do it than with other relationships. A very clear example is when we don't get along with a family member. I don't know, it could be a father, mother, siblings, uncle, grandparents, anyone. If that person is doing you bad for any reason, then I can assure you that you don't need that connection. Many people romanticize the family and supports and does everything for them. And I think that I don't have to endure with everything just because we're family. I mean, we can be family, but I'm still an independent person who thinks and feels, and if you feel that you can sustain that, then what I mean is that I don't think it's wrong to want to walk away from that relationship, even if they are a family member. If it is a way of taking care of yourself, and if in any type of relationship you don't feel safe, respected, or secure, then I think it would be no longer be something to want but to need to get out of that situation. Now, although the needs generally do not change over time, what you want will always change due to various things. What I wanted a few years ago is not the same as I want now, and it will not be the same as what I'll want in a few years. And it is not a bad thing, but because what we want changes according to our age. Many things also influence, such as where we live, our family, and friends. And as humans, we are constantly changing. The way we think changes too. We make mistakes, of course, part of the way, and learning. I will not let any moment in which I made a mistake define me. Maybe I made that mistake with something I wanted, but once I had it, I realized that maybe what I wanted was something that didn't do me good. And thanks to those mistakes, I realized that not everything I want is for me. And of course, not everything we want has to be somehow bad. We are always looking for something more, new experiences, new places, new hobbies, and all of that make us discover ourselves. So I hope you can find what you need and what you really want. So this is the end of today's episode. Don't forget that we have our Twitter account, The Uncertain Podcast. See you next week. Bye bye.